Hey everyone, and welcome to Design Decoded. I'm so excited to be sharing my passion for interior design with you. You know, creating a space that truly reflects your personal style doesn't mean you have to stick to just one design aesthetic. In fact, some of the most visually interesting and dynamic spaces come from a beautiful blend of different styles. Today we're going to break down the art of mixing interior design styles like a pro. We'll be exploring some simple yet powerful tips that will help you achieve a cohesive and stunning look in your own home. So, whether you're drawn to the clean lines of modern design or the cozy vibes of farmhouse chic, get ready to discover how to seamlessly blend your favorite elements for a space that truly feels like you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future design inspiration.
Okay, let's dive right into our first tip, which is all about finding the perfect balance. Think of it like building a delicious recipe. You need the right proportions of ingredients to create a harmonious flavor. In interior design, we call this the 80-20 rule, and it's a game changer when it comes to mixing styles. So, what exactly does 80-20 mean in the design world? It's simple. Choose one dominant style to make up about 80% of your space, and then select a secondary style for the remaining 20%. Think of the dominant style as the foundation of your design. It sets the overall tone and feel of the room. For the 80%, focus on the larger elements of your space, like the color palette, the main furniture pieces, and the flooring. For example, if you're drawn to the sleek and modern aesthetic, you might opt for a neutral color palette with pops of black and white, furniture with clean lines and geometric shapes, and polished concrete or hardwood floors. Now, for the fun part, the 20%? This is where you get to infuse your personality and add those unique touches that make your space truly special. The secondary style is all about those accent pieces that add character and visual interest. Think statement furniture pieces, eye-catching light fixtures, bold artwork, and textiles with interesting patterns or textures. Let's say your dominant style is modern, but you also love the warmth and texture of bohemian design. You could incorporate a few key bohemian elements like a macrame wall hanging, some colorful throw pillows with ethnic patterns, or a vintage rug with a global feel. Remember, the key is to create a dialogue between the two styles. You want them to complement and enhance each other, not compete for attention. And the 80-20 rule helps you achieve that perfect harmony. It's all about creating a space that reflects your personal style and makes you feel right at home.
Alright, now that we've got the 80-20 rule down, let's move on to another essential element of mixing design styles: color. Color is like the glue that holds everything together in a design. It has the incredible power to unify different elements and evoke specific moods or emotions. When mixing styles, a cohesive color palette bridges the gap between aesthetics. This doesn't mean everything has to match. A little contrast can be good. Ensure the colors you choose work together harmoniously. Identify common colors in both styles. For example, industrial chic and mid-century modern often use rich browns, deep greens, and burnt oranges. These shared hues can become the foundation of your color palette. Stick with a neutral backdrop and introduce pops of color through accent pieces. Neutrals like white, gray, beige, and black provide a versatile canvas. Once you have your neutral base, layer in pops of color strategically. Remember, color is a powerful tool that can make or break a design. A cohesive color palette incorporating elements from both styles creates a stylish and harmonious space.
Alright, let's move on to our next tip for mixing interior design styles like a pro, and that is finding common threads between your chosen aesthetics. Think of it like putting together a puzzle. You're looking for those pieces that fit together seamlessly, even if they come from different parts of the box. Now you might be thinking, but Bobby, my chosen styles are completely different. How am I supposed to find common threads? Trust me, they're there. It's all about looking beyond the surface and identifying those subtle connections that can tie everything together. One of the easiest ways to find common threads is through color, which we've already touched on. But don't limit yourself to just matching exact shades. You can also look for colors that share similar undertones or create a pleasing contrast. For example, pairing a cool-toned gray with a warm-toned brown can create a balanced and inviting feel. Another way to connect different styles is through texture. Texture adds depth, dimension, and visual interest to a space, and it can be a great way to bridge the gap between contrasting aesthetics. For instance, if you're mixing rustic farmhouse with sleek modern, you could incorporate natural textures like wood, linen, and leather to soften the hard edges of the modern pieces and create a cozy and inviting atmosphere. Shapes are another element to consider when looking for common threads. Even if your chosen styles have different overall shapes, you can often find smaller, repeating shapes that can help to tie everything together. For example, a round mirror in a geometric frame could complement both a mid-century modern sofa and a bohemian macrame wall hanging. The key here is to be observant and look for those subtle connections that can create a sense of unity in your space. It might be a shared color palette, a repeated texture, or a similar shape. Whatever it is, embrace those common threads and use them to your advantage.
Now, let's talk about focal points. Focal points are like the stars of your design. They're the elements that immediately draw your eye and create a sense of visual interest. And when you're mixing interior design styles, they're especially important for creating a cohesive and balanced look. Remember that 20% we talked about earlier, your secondary style? Well, this is where it really gets to shine. By strategically incorporating bold and eye-catching pieces from your secondary style, you can create focal points that add personality and character to your space. Think of it like adding a statement piece of jewelry to a simple outfit. The right focal point can elevate the entire look and make it feel more intentional and put together. Now, the key to creating effective focal points is to choose pieces that are both visually striking and representative of your secondary style. For example, if your dominant style is minimalist and your secondary style is bohemian, you could incorporate a large, colorful tapestry as a focal point on a blank wall. Or if your dominant style is industrial chic and your secondary style is vintage glam, you could use a sparkling chandelier as a statement piece in your dining room. When placing your focal points, consider the natural flow of the room and the areas where your eye is naturally drawn. You want to make sure your focal points are strategically placed to create a sense of balance and harmony in the space. For example, you might place a statement piece of furniture, like a bold-colored sofa or a vintage armchair, opposite the entrance to the room to immediately draw the eye upon entry. Or you could create a focal point above a fireplace by hanging a large piece of art or a decorative mirror.
Okay, we're on to our final tip for mixing interior design styles like a pro, and that is to distribute your chosen styles evenly throughout the space. Remember, balance is key. You don't want to create a space that feels disjointed or overwhelming. Think of it like this. You wouldn't want to eat a meal that was all dessert, right? You need a balance of flavors and textures to create a satisfying and enjoyable experience. The same goes for interior design. You want to create a space that feels balanced and harmonious, where each element complements the others. Now, this doesn't mean that every single corner of your home has to have a perfect 80-20 split. It's more about creating a sense of flow and cohesion throughout the space. Avoid concentrating all of your secondary style elements in one area. Instead, sprinkle them throughout the room to create a sense of visual interest and balance. For example, let's say your dominant style is Scandinavian minimalism, known for its clean lines, light colors, and natural materials, and your secondary style is industrial chic, with its exposed brick, metal accents, and vintage finds. You could incorporate a Scandinavian-inspired sofa and coffee table as the main furniture pieces in your living room, but then add some industrial chic touches through a metal and wood bookshelf, a vintage leather armchair, or some exposed Edison bulb pendant lights. In your dining area, you might opt for a sleek minimalist dining table and chairs, but then add some industrial flair with a metal and reclaimed wood sideboard or some factory-inspired pendant lights. The key is to create a sense of visual balance by distributing elements from both styles throughout the space. This way, your eye naturally flows from one area to the next, creating a cohesive and harmonious look.
So there you have it, 5 powerful tips for mixing interior design styles like a pro. Remember, creating a space that truly reflects your personal style is all about having fun, experimenting, and not being afraid to break the rules a little. Don't be afraid to mix and match different pieces. Experiment with color and texture. And most importantly, trust your gut. If you love it, it will work. And remember, you can always adjust and refine your design as you go along. Thank you so much for joining me on this design journey today. If you found these tips helpful, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more design inspiration. And don't forget to share your own design adventures with me in the comments below. I can't wait to see what you create.